Hey everyone, so I recently put a video out updating my current pedal board that I'm using right now in the church, and I got a lot of response on sharing the patch with you, and I told you I was going to do that, so this is a video geared around that, the HX Stomp patch that I was using. Now I just got to say, at the time I said that it was my matchless patch, my new one that I'm using, and I do have a new one that I'm using. However, the one I was using during the video was actually my AC30 Fawn patch, and so I'm sorry for the miscommunication on my part. But nonetheless, I'm going to show you exactly what I was using in that video, so if you like the sounds, hopefully this video is going to help you out. Cool, so with that, let's jump into HX Edit and check out this patch. Alright guys, here we are in HX Edit. I'm going to walk through each block and show you the settings and parameters I have so you can copy them down. If you want to just make it easier and also help support the channel, you can go to my Buy Me a Coffee page and I'll have the patch available for you to purchase over there. It would help the channel out and hopefully make it a little bit easier for you. And so the link is in the description down below. And then also I'll put two patches in there, one with the IR block if you want to go and purchase the IR that I'm using. I'm using David Hislop's IRs, and I will put the link in the description below. And I'll also have another patch with just a stock cab that I feel sounds pretty good in case you just want to use this patch right out of the Stomp and not purchase a third-party IR. But nonetheless, here is the bass tone. Now I gotta say really fast, in the video, this mod right here, I actually had that running before the amp, but I have changed that to fall behind the amp. And the reason I'm doing that is because it sounds really good going before the amp. However, when you put a drive pedal on the board in front of it, it just sounds a little weird and I don't really like it. So I've changed it up. I think this sounds a lot better. I think you're going to be a lot happier with this. I know I am. And so that's what's going on here. But let's just walk through the settings. So we start with the main left and right. I have a gate, and here are my settings for that. Then we go to the amp block, and I'm using again the AC30 Fawn, and these are my settings for that. So just kind of the edge of breakup. Sounds really good. Now here, this is a really cool thing that I like to do that I just think sounds really good. You wouldn't see this in just a normal workflow in real life, but for these units, it sounds really great. I like to throw a compressor in between the amp block and the IR. And these are the settings I'm using for that. I'm using the LA Studio Comp. Now, this is adding some compression and some gain, but it just sounds really good. Let me show you before and after. Here's without. So you can see that just sustains for a nice long time, and I really dig it. It sounds great. It is adding a little bit of push from the volume lift, but it also is adding some compression, and by putting it after the amp like that, you get a way better result with drive pedals going to the front of the amp. Well, you have the compressor in the front, and then you try to put a drive in it, it just kind of loses its vibe. And so putting it after and putting drive pedals before like that, I think it sounds really good. As far as the IR, I am using a 212 greenback from David Hislop, and I will put his link in the description to go and purchase those. They sound really, really good. I like them a lot. And they're just solid. Enough to be said about that. Then we move over here to this mod, and I'm using the dimension in the legacy list under modulation, and I have this routed to foot switch 5. So if you're going to download this patch, make sure to have a dual foot switch that you plugged in to the expression input on the Stomp, because you'll need that to control this. But I have this routed to foot switch 5, and here's what it sounds like. Cool, nice little spread there. That sounds really good for Just kind of clean tones, but it sounds really good for lead stuff too. Then we jump over here to the delay, and I'm running the Vintage Digital. I have this routed to foot switch 2. Now it's on all the time, so when the pedal is turned off, it still has some delay, as you can hear. But then when I engage the pedal, these parameters change. The note sync changes from quarter notes to dotted eighths. The sample rate changes from 8 kilohertz to 16, and the mix jumps up to 42%. And it sounds like this. And then finally, the reverb, I have this routed to foot switch 3, and I'm using the Glitz reverb. And again, it's always on when I have the pedal off, but then when I turn the pedal on, it's changing the decay, pre-delay, and the mix. So here's what it sounds like. So that sounds very cool. And then finally, the main output, just there's my volume. I don't know if that's worth anything to you, but there it is if you want. And then finally, just a couple quick notes I forgot to mention. On foot switch 1, I have that routed to the level of the IR here. And so when I hit foot switch 1 on the Stomp, it's just gonna turn it up 2 dB like that, and it's doing nothing apart from just a volume lift. So it helps any lead lines stand above the mix. And then again, foot switch 2 is routed to the delay. Foot switch 3 is routed to the reverb. Foot switch 4, I have tap and tuner, so I can hold that down and use the tuner. And then obviously tap the tempo into place for each song. And then finally, foot switch 5 is the modulation here for the chorus. And that's it. Again, you could head over to my Buy Me a Coffee page and you can purchase the patch there if you just want to drag and drop and make it easy and help support the channel. But if not, I totally get it, and hopefully this helps you out. I hope it does. Have a blessed day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and we will see you on the next video. See ya.